Hello my friends, how are you doing? This is Nesto. ¿Qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Soy Nesto. Today's video I want to share with you guys the process that I go through in order to slam a car. I'm going to try to show you how I slammed this Civic, but I'm going to be using a couple of different castings and maybe a couple of different methods. Voy a demostrarles cómo achaparro mis carritos. Traten de seguir los pasos lo más que puedan, lo más cerca que puedan y pongan mucha atención. En fin, so, okay, let me get started with this one. I went ahead and drilled it out, as you can see. There's my casting, and I got the base, and I went ahead and filed it down. With my metal file, I made it as flat as I could, and that's what it looks like. And I have paper clips, you can see them right there. Paper clips, 3 different sizes. I have the thickest kind, which is right here, that is thicker. This one is a little bit thinner, and that is the thinnest, the smallest. I use these paper clips to make pieces like this one right here. You can see? Yep, this piece that is hanging from the screwdriver I will be using. I have 2 more right here. You can see this other one. Yep, those 2. These are a little bit thinner, but the one I will end up using is this one, the one from the golden paper clip. So what I do with these little spaces that I cut from the paper clips, I actually go ahead and place them right there where the axle goes. Right there. As you can see, I've already placed the one down here, which is right there, and I will be putting that one on its place right here. So what I normally do is I actually slide them right through like so, and you're gonna push them with the screwdriver. And let me do that right away. Okay, so once you have placed it in the axle, what you can do is you can come back with your screwdriver and push it into place to secure. And once it's on there, it's almost ready. So you're gonna grab your wheels and you're going to place them right there, somewhere there. And what that does, the little trick that I did with the axle, it raises the surface where the axle rests, bringing it a little bit higher than it should be. And that's how it would sit. I'm going to show you really quick what it would look like in the car. You see? It's already showing you the difference in height, which is pretty awesome. So now what we gotta do, what I like to do, is I grab my marker, my paint marker. It's a black one, and I like to paint this area of the casting, or the base. This area right here. And I like to paint this area black so that it does not reflect. Okay, something like that. Now I gotta let it dry, let it sit, and this is one that I had done before, and this one I'm gonna show you what I did to it. This all I had to do was glue the axles to the bottom of the base as straight as I could and as even as I could, allowing the same room of play in each side. You see how the wheel moves? You want it to move the same way on both sides. Okay, so after you glue, actually before you glue the wheels to the base, you have to make sure it's smooth on the bottom. You have to have a smooth bottom. Okay, so this is dry now. See the black areas that I painted? That way whenever I put my wheels, you see, you don't have anything shining behind them, taken away from the pretty wheels. So okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my super glue. I'm gonna put a little bit of super glue on a card, Hot Wheels card. Place my super glue right here and a corner of the card. You can see it right there, and I'm going to apply some using a paper clip. So I'm going to place super glue all throughout the axle. And I'm going to grab my wheel and I'm going to place it right on top. Trying to make sure that it's evenly spaced like I mentioned to you earlier. I also have my baking soda ready to apply. Okay, so here it is. It is barely holding on. Barely holding on. So what I like to do, once I have them straight in place, I grab more super glue and then I place it all throughout. Okay, now I'm gonna come back with my baking soda, which is right there. Grab a little with the screwdriver and put some on the car, like so. And I'm just gonna tap it to allow it to move a little bit. I'm gonna flip it over, blow on it, and that's what it looks like. See? Holding on. So that's how I did that side. I'm going to do the other, the front axle really quick. You can see them glued onto the base, and then if I place it down, it rolls. Now, what I like to do is I like to mix a little bit of JB Weld and put it on top of that to make it a more secure, permanent wheel solution. So that's my JB Quick. I like to mix a little bit and apply it onto here. Oh yeah, before I even do that, I have to make a little adjustment. Let me show you where. I have to cut off a little bit of material right here. This is my, oops, There you go. That's the interior piece. So I have to come in here and I have to shave up a little bit of material. You can see what I do it right there. Yep. So pretty much that's what I got to do on all sides. Remove a little bit of material so that the wheels, or so that the axles fit. Because if you don't do this, the axles are not going to fit back into place. Because you raise them up higher, remember? And you gotta allow a little room here for them to go up. Okay, so now that's what they look like. It's a little bit chopped off. You see right there. But now you'll see the car fit together. And there we go, guys. That's what it looks like so far. Let me show you. You see? And if you still wanted to make it higher, you could bend the axles upward a little bit. But this looks amazing as it is. That is weird. So cool. So we're gonna stop that there and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so here I've already went ahead and mixed up my little JB Weld solution. I applied it on this axle. So now I'm gonna do it on the front. Grab a little bit of this stuff and carefully apply it. Try not to apply it on, or don't get too crazy with it and mistakenly apply it over the tires. Be careful. Okay, so that's it. That's what it looks like. Now I'm gonna let it sit and let it dry. Gonna move this down here. And a trick I like to use when I let that dry is I like to put a rubber band, and I actually I'm gonna grab this piece of plastic bag that I got, put it over that, and then I'm gonna grab the interior and I'm gonna place it right where it should be. Yeah, that's where the interior sits, you know, with the casting. So I'm just gonna put that there and get a rubber band and let it like so. Let it sit and let it dry. So we're gonna let it dry like so for maybe like 20 minutes, and we should almost be done. On this other casting, for instance, this is one that I had already prepared to put back inside of a car, and if you compare it with this one, it's already been trimmed in different places. Can you see? Oops, of course you cannot. Let me put it like that, it'll be easier. But the differences here are, I trimmed this area, I cut this off, you can see on both sides comparing to this one, and I trimmed the back part too. You see where I trimmed it? So I did that in order so that the wheels, whenever, you know, I have the wheels like this is my base, So once I have glued my wheels onto the base, I like to put a screwdriver right here. You see? I put my screwdriver there holding the axle down, and then I come back and bend the wheel. If I just try to come back and bend the axle upward, the whole axle is going to come off. I'm going to end up ungluing it. So that's why I like to hold this like so, and once it's being held, then I can come and bend the axle or the wheel upward like I'm doing so right there. So you do that on every single side, you know, put the screwdriver there and then bend upwards. Screwdriver, bend upwards on every single one. And when you do that, of course you're gonna bring the wheels higher up, and if you did not get rid of this extra material in here on the interior plastic part that I just showed you here and here, and also shave the inner fenders right here, then your wheels are not gonna fit. But since I already did that there, you see, they sit very nicely. If I had not trimmed this area, my wheels would be rubbing against this plastic. And sometimes I think is the interior that I need to keep on shaving, but it's not. It's actually the plastic part that I need to modify a little bit. So you gotta pay attention to that. And this should be dried pretty soon. Alright, it's been like 10 minutes. So I'm going to show you really quick what I did here with this casting. This is what one of my Dremel, or two of my Dremel tips look like. These are my favorite ones. You can see the two different tips. One of them is long, the other one is like a circle. This is my favorite one. You have a lot more control with this. Whenever I use this is when I tend to mess up the castings. I lose control and I end up hitting the fenders. But when I use this one, it's a lot easier to just place here, you know, as it spins, and just go like that, back and forth. This area is pretty easy right here because I just go like that. This movement, like so. Of course, this is spinning, and as it spins it takes out material, but this is the movement that I follow. So you can try that, you know, hold the casting, the Dremel spinning, and follow this. So that's pretty much what I did there. And these are the two attachments. This is also metal file that I use to smooth the bottom pieces or the bases. So I'm gonna remove this rubber band. Like I said, it's been like 10 minutes and this thing should be okay. Not completely dry, but it's pretty dry. See, I removed the plastic. That's what it looks like. And this should sit there perfectly. See, no issues. That's why we let it dry with this on top. Because if I had just let it dry and then try to put this on, this would not fit. This would not sit perfectly on there, and I would have to come in here and modify this. It's a pain. So I just, you know, figured out, let's let it dry with this so it dries into shape, and it works. You see? So now let's put the car together. Windshield, interior, and the base. Okay, went ahead and put the screws on here. I used the long one for the front and a shorter one for the rear. And here is the car. Guys, what do you think? What do you think, guys? Let me lower the camera. And that's what it looks like. My friends, what do you think? So the quick trick was to use these paper clips as wheel spacers. I did not even have to do anything else to it. It came out perfect. If you want your wheels to be tucking in, like on this one, you have to bend them upwards like I showed you using the screwdriver trick. But make sure you glue them first and make sure they're evenly glued. But what do you think, my friends? I'm gonna edit this video, put it together, take some photos, and hell yeah, did not turn out too bad. So really quick, guys, I went ahead and I bent the axles on the BMW like I showed you I did on the Subaru. I bent the axles and I actually shaved the inside of the fenders a little bit. And that's what it looks like. Still spins pretty nicely. And I'm gonna show you really quick how it looks in the inside once it's bent. I had to put a long screw on the front because I messed up the car when I was tapping it. So you can see that the bend is very, very subtle, and it may not even be even. You can see slightly, or you can see more of a bend on this wheel on the rear, and maybe this one on the front. Let's look at them from this side. Maybe slightly, but you can hardly see. But anyway, that's what they look like once they're a little bent. I think it turned out okay. Oh yeah, and the inside of the casting looks like this now, after I shaved it and all. Some castings are a little bit tougher to do than others, but there it is. Just assemble it back real fast. You can see the camber looks very subtle on the car. Extremely subtle. But the gap has been filled. Once again, thank you very much, my friends, for watching this long video. I hope you guys liked it, and peace out, my friends. Hasta la próxima, amigos. Acabo de mostrar cómo hice el doble en los ejes para que se viera un poquito más chaparrado aún. Espero que les haya gustado el video y hasta la próxima, compadres. Peace out.